Uh, so good morning, students. Okay. Today, so now we are moving ahead into our search, and today we are going to see a new concept on what we call it as heuristics and informed research. Okay. So you already know that our discussions till now, okay, revolved all around what we call it as uninformed research. Okay, and we saw all the different searching techniques which belong to the uninformed search category. So we saw breadth first search. Okay, we saw its working, we saw its algorithm. Okay, we took an example and see how it worked like. Okay, then we saw depth first search. Okay, and we can say to overcome certain limitations of depth first search, there was DFS, that is iterative deepening depth first search. And then we saw something known as bidirectional search. Okay, and after bidirectional search, our last searching technique that we saw was about basically uniform cost search. Okay, but one thing was sure, that in all of these searching techniques, okay, probably the two important things that we use is, okay, we just visit a node and then we keep on expanding the node. Okay, and not sure about whether this whole process will actually take us to the goal state or not. So it might happen that there will be many traversals, okay, which may not be necessary, or which may be just explored, but they not help actually when the final path from the start node and the goal node is found. Okay, that's what we have seen in uninformed research, and that's how. Okay, now what new that we are going to see today, okay, it's going to differ. So now if we want to understand about informed research or whatever searching techniques actually we are going to see ahead, there is one concept, okay, that we have to understood, and that concept is something known as heuristics. Okay, so let's first understand, students, what exactly heuristics is. And okay, once we understood and once we get an idea of heuristics, okay, we can start our discussions on then what can be informed research. Okay, fine. So today, in today's session, we are going to talk about, or we are going to see about heuristics. Okay, heuristics in general. Okay, in general, what is the meaning of heuristics? Okay, and then we'll talk about heuristic functions. Okay, so when we talk about heuristic functions, we'll be talking with respect to AI, that how we are going to use this concept of heuristics to actually create heuristic functions. And then these heuristic functions will actually are going to be a part of informed search. And a very first search algorithm, of course we are just going to see the basics of that algorithm today, and that explore the more exploration on it we can see into the next session. So that is going to be our A star search. Okay, so let's start with heuristics. Okay, so now first of all, this is something, a very common and a generic definition of heuristics. Okay, so let's understand that a heuristic technique or a heuristic says, I find, discover, is any approach to problem solving or self discovery that employs a practical method that is not guaranteed to be optimal, perfect, or rational, but is nevertheless sufficient for reaching an immediate short term goal or approximation. So, students, this definition simply wants to tell that it is nothing but a kind of a problem solving method, okay, a practical method, okay, which may not be optimal, which may not be perfect. Okay, but then if we want to if we want to reach some solution, okay, or maybe short term goal, okay, the word that we are using is, let's say, short term goal. If you want to reach that short term goal, okay, then basically we make your heuristics. Okay, so now, students, okay, because of course we are learning AI, and what all concepts we are going to understand in AI will be somewhere already exist into human terminologies. Okay, so heuristics is something, okay, that we also use. Okay, so let's say we have a whole big problem in front of us. Okay, so our approach, okay, basically is not to dig down, go ahead. Okay, we don't always find the longest path, okay, to solve that problem. Okay, we always think about approaches what we call it as shortcut methods. Okay, and while approaching the concept of shortcut methods, okay, what we do is there will be some part of the problem, okay, that we will not look at, or maybe we'll find a smallest way wherein we can just small solve the problem, or maybe we can go ahead into the problem. So that is something like heuristics. Okay, that is the concept behind heuristics, that what you do is basically, you ignore maybe some of the things, okay, or with, of course, certain, let's say, intelligence and experience that we have, okay, we tend to ignore certain things, thinking that these things probably, are not necessary. If I want to solve the problem, let me go ahead with, these things, and yeah, we'll see what happens further. Okay, so probably, we may not be perfect, okay, that's what it is, that is true, we may not be perfect in solving that problem at the core, but yeah, we may be fast, okay. So rather than, solving the problem, and let's say taking 5-6 days, okay, what we do is, we develop a method wherein we can solve the same thing, let's say, in a day or a two, okay, something like that. So that's what, basically heuristics wants to tell you. So where finding an optimal solution is impossible or impractical, heuristic methods can be used to speed up the process of finding a satisfactory solution. Okay, so what we're talking about over here, we are talking about a satisfactory solution. Okay, so something, which can be accepted, and something which with the help of which, we may just be able to go ahead. Heuristics can be mental shortcuts that ease the cognitive load of making a decision. So students, that's what I just told you told that probably, if there is a bigger picture in front of us, and then let's say if we try, using certain shortcuts, okay, and then big load of solving the problem, okay, if we could ease that, then we have said that, yeah, we have used heuristics, okay, or we are using heuristics. Fine. So what exactly, basically are the uses of heuristic? Okay, so it will reduce the mental effort to make the decisions, it will simplify complex and difficult questions, okay, and if we start using heuristics, okay, we can have a fast and accurate way to arrive at a conclusion, okay, at a conclusion of, solving that problem. Okay, so now, okay, rather than, okay, telling something like, okay, we want to reach a goal, or we want to reach a goal, okay, we are just, using words certain, like, okay, we want to solve the problem. Okay, so rather than, okay, reaching the goal, okay, and the effort over here is basically to solve the problem and to move ahead. Okay, so maybe, to come up with some solution, okay, and just move ahead, come up with a solution, and move ahead. Okay, so that's what we want to do. So, we don't want to spend an entire energy to dig down till the end of the problem and find out that, okay, where exactly, connecting all the parameters, and where exactly, the end process of this problem lies. Instead, okay, what we do is, okay, forget about what is there at the end. Okay, let me consider the first level. Okay, what I can do, okay, what are the things which I can quickly do. Okay, I'll execute it and move ahead. Then what? So basically, what you're doing, okay, the whole big process of solving the problem, what you do is you divide and you try to conquer. Okay, so that is a concept of heuristics basically, and that same concept, basically works into our mind maybe all the time. Maybe, more than 50, 60, or 70% of the problems, okay, that we do, or maybe more than 60 or 70% of the activities also that we do, okay, literally involve the concept of heuristics. Okay, so now, that is basically, okay, what we call is heuristics in general. Okay, now what are heuristic functions? Okay, so now we are talking it somewhere, okay, related to what we call it as AI, or maybe, related to what we are actually going to focus on searching. So we are trying to now, we can say, intercept this concept and try to understand that whether this concept, okay, can be a part of our search or not. Okay, so till now, okay, what we know that, okay, we were keeping on searching and searching and searching, and, we used to search the whole state space. Okay, and of course the whole state space will be searched using certain strategies, like, either it will go breadth wise or depth wise. Okay, but then it was blind. Okay, we were not sure whether we are right or wrong one, and we just keep on going ahead and ahead and ahead. So and we know that, of course, it will take time, it will consume your memory. Okay, there are many things, yeah, but they guarantee you that, yeah, they will, give you the final goal. Okay, so that is their guarantee. Okay, because they don't cut short anything. Okay, they simply, explore each and everything which is possible. Okay, so specifically, if we talk about breadth first search and depth first search, okay, if resources are provided to them, if everything is provided to them, they are going to run till the end. Okay, and they'll try to find what exactly you are looking for. Okay, but that is not the concept with heuristic. Okay, while searching in heuristic, okay, what we tend to do is we need to, rule out what we say certain things, or we need to do not consider certain things. Of course, these certain things will surely be a part of a state space. Okay, heuristic functions does not tell that we are going to, reduce our state space. No, the state space will be same. The state space will definitely have all those states which it wanted inside it. But then while solving, okay, a certain thing, so now when we say while solving a problem, okay, basically we're trying to tell that we would be somewhere into the initial state, and we have to go further. Okay, again, I'm not telling that we have to go towards the goal state, but of course further and further, which means always, okay, we are looking for a direction which is maybe near to the goal state, or maybe into the direction of the goal state, or like that. And let's say in the process of doing so, if there is certain additional information which can help us, then that is something what we call it as heuristic functions. Okay, so now what exactly they are and how will it be possible, okay, that we can get an information of heuristic function. Okay, so a heuristic function, or simply a heuristic, is a function that ranks alternatives in search algorithms. Okay, now very important word, it ranks. Okay, ranks the alternatives, which means, let's say if you're at a initial node and there are 5 nodes available from that, okay, it will rank them. Okay, that let's say the node 1 has, let's say, rank number 2, the node 2 has rank number 5, the node 3. Okay, of course there is a certain parameter on which the ranking is done, okay, which we'll look into it, but point is there over that they will be ranked. Okay, and then according to the rank, okay, we may decide that which next node we have to select, and then we will go ahead. So at each branching step, based on the information to decide which branch to follow. Okay, so there will be certain additional information. Okay, we can say staying at each node. Okay, which will help us to understand that which basically node to follow after this. So the transition from nodes to nodes, okay, will now be different. Okay, will be now based upon certain calculation, will be now based upon certain logic, rather than just expanding them either breadth wise or depth wise, or layer wise, or like bidirectional wise, something like that. Okay, yeah. Now lastly, when we saw uniform cost search, okay, we can have a certain we can say a kind of an analogy when we understand this, because at over there also there was one factor, okay, which was additional. So if you if we have uniform cost search as compared to rest of the searching techniques, then uniform cost search, there was some additional parameter which we call it as the cost. Okay, so then what we were doing is we were progressing the search according to the cost. Okay, so when we will see about heuristic function, it will be it will be somewhat similar to it, but that concept is bit different, because that is just involving cost. Okay, cost, which means maybe let's say the time consumption, or maybe the memory consumption, okay, to reach towards the node. But when you talk about heuristic functions, okay, they also give us a value, but then that value is not it's not just with respect to time. Okay, it's with respect to some logical interpretation also. So when we talk about uniform cost search, okay, there is time, there is memory, okay, there is cost involved, but no logic behind there is there. Okay, that's the simple thing. Okay, that probably if we go from here to here, the time and the memory is going to be less. Okay, but there is no logic involved. And as we have seen that in uniform cost search, it may also happen that we traverse to a path which is actually, we feel that there is shortest in distance, but may end up with not going exactly where we want to go also. Okay, so indirectly it may happen that the path cost also increase. Okay, depending if the path that we have chosen is wrong. So again, uniform cost search, though it gives certain additional parameters, but it will exactly not tell us whether the path that we are following is correct or not. Okay, because there is no logic when we want to actually jump from one node to another node, and that is the case when we start using heuristic functions. So let's take an example over here. Okay, in a game of chess, heuristic function can rule out all the possible moves that lead to a wrong position for a player, and not further analyze the following moves, since the result was not getting any better. So what has happened is that let's say if this heuristic function becomes a part of, let's say, a chess playing game state space, and let's say there will be multiple states into this, And just for an example, that every state will have, certain value, and that value will, actually try to tell us that if we start moving into these directions, then probably, okay, we may end up in a situation which is not, good for us, okay, which is not actually good for the agent, which is not actually, helping the agent, okay. And yes, this calculation of heuristic function is done on certain things, okay. It's not just, random, that certain values are just normally placed. So there is some sensible logic behind it, and with that, okay, the values of these heuristic functions will be there. But while we'll analyze this, okay, so whenever we want to jump from one state to another state, and we analyze the values of these heuristic functions, they can actually tell us that something like this would be ahead into this path, okay. So they will, just try to tell us, what the further path will look like, or whether the further path is going to be beneficial or not in solving the problem, okay. So that will be, the importance of heuristic function. Now, doing so, the function can search more moves in a short time period, since it does not waste time looking at the bad news, or what we say basically bad moves, okay. It will, basically not see all those paths wherein the heuristic function values is telling something, and it will not, search them only. It will, just kindly simply ignore them, and then it will, try to look upon certain other paths, okay, which may be helpful more. So what will happen over here is that if we start using heuristic search, so rather than, considering the whole state space, basically, it will intelligently cut short the state space, and then it will try searching into it, okay. So that, the same search, okay, which was getting carried, which was happening into, let's say, in any of the uninformed search techniques, now actually takes a lot amount of small time. Now, a heuristic function h of n is supposed to estimate the cost of the solution beginning from the start of the node n, okay. So these heuristic function, okay, will also take care about, the cost, and the cost will be starting from node n, okay. The similar concept that we have seen, when we have talked about uniform cost set. But again, I'm telling over here that when we talk about cost, okay, or when we talk about an estimation of the cost, it will be based on, certain logical parameters also, okay. Fine. So now the most important part over here is, okay, talking about, okay, this is heuristic function and this is how it is going to help us. The most important part is, how it will be possible to construct a heuristic function, okay. So before, I tell you that what exactly happens, okay, let's say just think about a situation. In a layman terms, let's first understand. Let's say if you do the same thing again and again and again, okay, if there is the same process, okay, which you, let's say, follow 10 number of times, 20 number of times, 30 number of times, 40 number of times, 50 number of times, okay, probably at the end of 58th time, okay, you will be smart enough to understand that, what wrong did into the process, which may, and probably, from the let's say you did the process at the first time, and you did the process at the 50th time, there will be a lot of difference, okay. There will be a lot of difference, maybe in the consumption of time, maybe in the consumption of logic, maybe in the consumption of approach behind solving that problem. So what you would do is, at the time 50th time when you solve that problem, you're going to solve that problem, or you're going to do that approach in a very smart way. Now, what is a smart way? Okay, what do we mean when we say smart way? Okay, when we say we are smart enough, which means we know that these things, okay, are not going to help us, okay. So let's say, as a human, okay, if I play tic-tac-toe 100 number of times, probably, at the end I will come up with a strategy of winning, okay. So after every move, okay, I know that though there are 5 possibilities available to me, this possibility, is definitely going to, it's definitely not going to help me, or something like that, okay. So that is a heuristic nature that we have developed, and that same nature will be developed into the AI agent. So there will be two approaches which the AI agent can use. One is experience. Okay, it will keep on experiencing, okay, every time. Okay, so every time, okay, new situations will come to it. Okay, initial states will be there, it will follow the whole process. Okay, so before, let's say, heuristic is not there, it has to follow the traditional approach. Okay, and it has to run, it has to work according to the traditional approaches, according to the traditional searches. Okay, and then every time, it will come up with certain path, it will store the path, it will understand the path. Okay, next time it will happen, next time it will happen, next time it will happen. And then, probably what it may see is that, experiencing all this, then it will start developing a learning approach that, okay, when I was executed, so the agent will experience what agent was executed. Let's say same thing, agent was executed 50 number of times, and in all those 50 number of times, what it saw is that some part of the state space, okay, is never used. Or maybe when agent tried to explore this part of state space, it basically doesn't help him. Okay, it basically doesn't help him to go towards the goal state. So here probably, whatever searches were done, okay, whatever initial states were given to the agent, okay, because every time the initial states would be different, all these things, okay, will be stored somewhere. Okay, and then there will be learning approach to that. And after that learning approach, okay, this whole agent will be revised again. And then now the state spaces, we will have certain heuristic function value, and this process can go on and on until your agent becomes more and more smart enough. Okay, but again over here, okay, probably in here, when we are talking about heuristic functions, we are not talking about that agent is learning everything on their own. Basically, we keep agent in an environment wherein it starts experiencing, it starts performing the traditional search, and then, okay, the output of the search that we get, okay, we keep tracks of it. Okay, and after that, okay, then there will be certain learning approach. Now learning approach can be two ways. Okay, either that learning approach we may give to the agent, or maybe there could be someone who will understand that learning approach, and then the state space, okay, which is defined. Okay, so someone would be there, okay, who is going to define that state space. So that person, or maybe that developer, okay, is going to now put the heuristic function values also over there. Okay, so that is about using experience and using learning approach. Okay, so now taking an example of 8 puzzle, experience means solving the puzzle many number of times. Each time optimal solutions can be formed, which can lead to solution. Using these algorithms can be developed, which actually creates the heuristic functions h of n. Okay, so let's say every time the puzzle is getting solved, okay, and a solution is framed, that solution can be given to a learning algorithm. Okay, and from that solution, basically that learning algorithm will actually understand the heuristic value, that what happened when the solution was found, which part of the state space was being used, and which part of the state space was not being used. And depending on that, okay, depending on that, it will try to create a value for h of n. Learning algorithms can help to construct h of n, which can predict solution cost for other states that arise during search. Okay, so basically these algorithms will help that what is the cost. Okay, now cost with respect, not just from one state to another, cost with respect to the whole path. Okay, so cost of whether by executing this whole path is going to help to my search or will not help to my search. Okay, so that all predictions, okay, can be done with the help of h of n. But then h of n is something which is not going to be created randomly. Okay, we need to execute that agent n number of times to understand, okay, what mechanism it does searches. And then every time, okay, the search can be improvised, and that's why, okay, we understood uninformed search. Okay, because at the first level we need to apply that. Okay, and after that application, okay, after that application of n number of times of normal traditional search engines, okay, we can improvise that search to maybe a heuristic search, or maybe what we call it as informed search. So informed search is something which does not comes on automatically. Okay, but yeah, with a lot of experience of that agent. Or the other thing could be the state space, okay, that we are putting into the agent, the state space is already experienced. Okay, that could be another parameter. Okay, so in any of these ways, okay, we can start making use of heuristic functions. Fine. So moving ahead, okay, so then what is the informed search? Okay, so if the search uses specific domain specific knowledge, which means the search is not just going blind enough, okay, it knows that what it is searching, okay, what are the next values, whether they are. So when we say domain specific knowledge, which means, let's say if you're performing informed search, let's say a tic-tac-toe agent or a chess playing agent, then they are aware about what do they mean by tic-tac-toe, okay, which kind of moves basically are not going to help them maybe to win the game, or which kind of moves are going to help them, okay, to be very nearer to win the game. So when we call that domain specific knowledge, we're talking about them. It suggests a way to estimate how close a state is to the goal with an evaluation function. So when we talk about evaluation function, we are talking about h of n, that is heuristic function. These evaluation is often based on empirical observation. So students, the word empirical observation simply means that if we need to understand the evaluation function, which means we might have, observed that agent maybe 50, 60, 70 empirical, which means, n number of times the observations would have done, okay, that observations data would have been collected, and then certain evaluation functions would have put into it, and that's how, the whole search has got improved. Okay, so that's about informed search. So these kind of informed search are basically, these heuristic functions we can use into a tic-tac-toe game, eight queens problem, okay, solving a maze. Okay, so going forward, okay, we will see certain examples, how basically these heuristic functions, okay, play a role. And will understand logically also that, why it happens that in certain moves of tic-tac-toe is basically, not going to help us to win the game. I'll take this problem because, as this problem, okay, we also are smart enough to understand that, certain putting, let's say, our moves at certain places, okay, either from my side, either from our side or from the agent side, certain moves are not going to definitely help to win the game. So if those moves are not going to help, okay, then, why to consider those moves, okay, or why to consider those state space. So now if we talk about tic-tac-toe, in our previous session only we saw that how big the state space is. Let's say first initial position, there will be 9 different options, and that every option will be having, 8 more different solutions, and then again every 1 8 solution will have 7, and then, it will move on and on. So if we start using the traditional search approach, then probably, we are searching all those stored spaces, and then we may not be guaranteed enough. Okay, so in the process that an agent searches, then the opponent, actually the agent, that maybe a human, could actually, win the game and go ahead. So then in that case, okay, your tic-tac-toe agent will be surely an AI agent, because, it has done certain part, but then it will not be smart enough to win the game. So if we want to make it smart enough to win the game, then yeah, we need to inform the tic-tac-toe agent about certain additional parameters. Okay, we cannot just, make the agent that, okay, you use a breadth first search, depth first search, and, go ahead in searching what you want. Okay, so not every problem, okay, requires informed search technique also. Okay, so uninformed search technique will be used wherein basically, okay, as I told, okay, if we are not looking to a place wherein, a performance measure is going to be, winning something, or, doing certain tasks like this into this much amount of time, but rather than, we just want to search. Okay, we just, want to keep on searching and searching and searching. In that case, uninformed search will play a role. And again, one more thing, that to come to a derivation of an informed search, okay, it is very important that uninformed search would have been performed on that state space n number of times. So that is nothing but what we call it as empirical observations, and then only this informed search would have been possible over there. Fine. So based on this, okay, informed search, we have very first algorithm. Okay, today we are just going to see a glimpse of it, and we are going to discuss detailed about it into our next session. So that is the A-star algorithm. So it is one of the best and popular techniques for finding the pathfinding and graph traversals. Okay, a lot of games and web-based maps use this algorithm to find the shortest path efficiently. It is essentially a best first search algorithm. Okay, so A-star algorithm equivalent to what we call it as a best first search algorithm. Okay, this is a one of a kind of what we call it as an informed search algorithm, or I can tell it, or we can tell it that this is nothing but a heuristic algorithm. So what basically it does is it maintains a tree of paths originating at the start node. Basically what all the other algorithm does, it does the same thing. It extends those paths one edge at a time it continues until its criterion is satisfied. So this is a normal thing which most of the algorithm does, and it also does the same thing. But then what exactly it uses to, let's say, extend those paths, okay, one edge at a time. So when it has to, you know, go from one node to another node, or let's say it has to traverse an edge, what exactly it does, so this is how, you know, it is going to differ. So A-star algorithm extends the path that that minimizes the following function. Okay, so what basically it is going to do is, let's say it is going to select a node, or it is going to select a path which is going to have the least value of this function. And now what is this function? So it is f of n is equal to g of n plus the heuristic function. Okay, now n we know is nothing but the last node of the path. G of n is the cost of the path, and that start from the node to node n. Now last node of the path, which means, let's say if you are from node 1 and node 2, okay, so as of now your last node of the path is node 2. So for node 2, starting from the goal node, what you calculate is f of n, and that will be equals to g of n, cost of the path from start to node. So now g of n we already know, okay, because g of n was something that we have exactly used in uniform cost search, okay, the cost from the root node to this node. But now, then with that, so every node will not just have g of n information, but it will have one more information, that is what we call it as h of n. Now, what is h of n? Is a heuristic function that estimates the cost of cheapest path from node n to the goal node. Okay, so at every node, okay, so h of n is not just, you know, giving us directly an information at the goal node. Okay, what h of n will do is, okay, at every node when the values of h of n are calculated, so let's say h of n, let's say at one node is having value 5 and at another node is having value 4, which means the path the path where the value of h of n value is less is guaranteed to be, let's say, you know, more nearer to the goal node, or maybe a more we can say efficient path towards the goal node. And where h of n is equals to 5, which means there will be, you know, certain more additional moves. So maybe that will also help you to reach towards the goal node, but maybe, you know, you will be wasting certain you know, more efforts, maybe more time, or, you know, maybe you may be traversing to some unnecessary states which are actually not necessary. So that that h of n will tell you. And then summing up both these values, so whichever value, okay, so f of n, okay, so let's say from node a there are three possibilities, a, b and c, and let's say we calculate f of n for a, b and c, and whichever is less, okay, we, you know, we adopt that path, because there are two great choices that we are getting when we select that node. So let's say if we select b, okay, then there is two surety. First surety is that the cost path of, maybe, you know, that from start node to that is less, and also the heuristic function is less, which means this path is very you know, very quick enough, very, you know, as of now at this moment, very optimal enough to go towards the goal state. Okay, and this process, you know, may continue till the end. So yes, students, okay, this was about A star search. Okay, and yeah, we're going to see about this algorithm again, okay, in depth. Okay, so if, you know, we again understand about informed search, so the, or probably, you know, now all the category of algorithms that we are going to see, okay, they are going to be based on informed search, and we can very relevantly understand why performing a lot of uninformed search, okay, will actually, you know, help us to understand certain patterns, okay, of how the searching goes about. And then with the help of that we can calculate heuristics, and these heuristics can be fed now to the searches, and then our searches can actually become, you know, informed search. But one thing very important, that whenever you want to calculate the heuristics, you should be very well aware about, you know, how that problem actually solves. Okay, so it simply means that the calculation for heuristics of tic-tac-toe will be completely different than the calculation of heuristics for solving a maze. Okay, which means the practical approach to solve the tic-tac-toe has to be performed n number of times, which will give you a certain interpretation of logic behind the solving of tic-tac-toe and understanding which parts are not relevant. So the domain knowledge is very important. Now, solving a maze is not similar to tic-tac-toe, which means, well, if we form a heuristic function for tic-tac-toe, then that same heuristic function is not going to go in solving a maze. Okay, but in uninformed search technique, it was not like that. Whether it is tic-tac-toe or whether it is solving a game, breadth first search is always going to behave as breadth first search. Over here, it is not like that, students. So, if you want to calculate the heuristics for tic-tac-toe, okay, then it has to be played the logic behind the unnecessary parts or the necessary parts or what is exactly going to help you to move ahead in solving it, okay, will be different than the other problem which is there into the picture, okay. And to do that, okay, the only possibility is to execute that thing, okay, to have an empirical observation of it n number of times, and then only after certain period of time probably it will get converted into what we call it as informed search, okay. So all the informed search, or maybe all the searches that we are going to discuss further, will definitely have this concept of heuristics into it. And the very first algorithm that we'll see in depth about heuristics, that is nothing but A star. Okay, now when we will understand these A star, okay, we might put some random heuristic values, okay, because we actually haven't calculated, and so those values will be there, but then the depiction of those values should come to you. So let's say you are solving a graph wherein those values of heuristics are placed, okay. So there will be random values, but they have not just come randomly. There will be some lot of effort beforehand, okay, which was being placed, okay, and after that these values were getting generated, okay. So in that case the effort is that the algorithm has to experience, and then it has to learn, okay. So that's how we call it that informed search will be performed, or heuristics will be performed. So fine, okay, today we understood about heuristics, okay, heuristic functions. The same concept is going to we can understand that stretch ahead, because in many of the search that we are going to look further, we are going to have this concept again and again. So as in our first sessions we talked about uninformed search again and again and again. So every time now we are going to talk about what are heuristic functions, and what will be informed search. And yeah, we just saw a glimpse about what is A star search, okay, today, okay. So yes, students, okay, that's for today, okay. Thank you all of you.